What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between investors and entrepreneurs in cryptocurrency to be able to help people understand the best opportunity, in our opinions, that being cryptocurrency over the next few years. We're pumped to have you here. We've got some really cool stuff to chat about today. This will be a fun show. So, welcome, Corey. Take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here, just having a fun day out here in Puerto Rico. Man, it's been a blast just to be on this crypto journey with all you fine ladies and gentlemen. It's been amazing where we're going to use crypto as that wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool so that way we can preserve our wealth for our family and kind of lock those gains in, if you will. And man, it's been a beautiful morning because we have this the highest of stakes documentary coming out. We have, I thought was a fire trailer, man. That thing was, I watched it a good 4 times this morning when I woke up. And this is going to create a lot of buzz in the community. It'll create a lot of controversy, I feel like, in the cryptocurrency space more than we already got. Obviously, I think Richard Hart is probably the one of the most controversial characters or colorful, whatever you want to, however you want to label him in the space. And but man, in my opinion, in a good way, he's able to conjure up a lot of this controversy. He's able to, make people mad. I feel like, and that gets eyeballs on our ecosystem. So I'm super excited. I'm not excited that they're not showing it in Puerto Rico. They're having it in Phoenix, and I'm flying back to Phoenix, but they're not doing it to the 7th, and I'm not gonna be around in Phoenix all the way to 7th. So I guess I'll have to wait for either the YouTube, if someone who goes in there and does what do you call that, pirate, maybe the YouTube pirate viewing, or I'm hoping, which me and you were kind of talking about, Dane, before the show. We can dive in this a little bit and the mindset behind it. But hoping, something like a Netflix puts it out, and then that would be a lot of fun to view it there.
Right, it would be. And I wonder if let me go ahead and share my screen. This will be good. All right. In fact, let's just watch it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Let's minimize some of this stuff. All right. All right, here we are. Let's see if I can get it to.
And guys, while he's doing that, please smash the likes, hit the subscribe button. Helps pump all of our bags, get the algorithm out there, and get more eyeballs on the show.
Absolutely. Where's the link? So here's the link. You guys can come and check out. There's the highest of stakes, guys. They have the link to come and sign up, and you can see all the places where there's screenings taking place. I don't know if I'm wondering if in Utah they already sold out already, or if someone's just being
there
weird.
It is. Yeah, I mean, they must have, because you have it on there.
Yeah, I can't get it to show any of the times, so maybe it's sold out, which is a good thing. Like the more,
yeah. Let's fill a theater up as much as we possibly can, and get as many eyeballs as we can.
Right. All right. Let's see. Can you hear it?
I cannot.
Cannot.
You might have to do a. There's probably a when you present, maybe a share sound.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I know there is on Zoom. Let me see if I can do it here. Let's do entire screen, so I'll be able to see the contents of your screen. Share. All right.
Sorry. I think your wife might have been looking for this.
I'm having my basement worked on since our basement flooded this weekend. So we've got people in and out here today.
What a pain in the butt.
What a freaking pain.
Oh, you should have stayed in Puerto Rico, bro.
Oh man, seriously. Seriously. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the audio to work here. Let's see.
There's got to be a way to do it.
There's gotta be, right? Hold on.
Yeah, maybe it's
Audio, stereo, automatically adjust mic. MacBook, Mexico.
You guys in the comments know how to do it. If you guys any of you guys are streamers, and you know how to share the audio along with the video, please post.
Virtual recording. If I can get it here in like 2 seconds, we'll do it. If not, it's not a big deal.
Otherwise, you could put up your microphone next to the speaker. Could be the other.
That's not a bad idea. Well, it is. It's up next to the speaker, but if I press play, I mean,
It's canceling it out.
can you hear anything?
No.
Yeah. Is it something here? I don't know. Technical difficulties. That's all right. We'll skip this part. But if you guys haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and post the link in the show. It's an interesting watch. What was your initial feelings about watching it, Corey?
Oh man, controversial as hell. It's the old school Richard Hart, not the one that we've kind of been experiencing in 2023. So that is definitely 2022 Richard Hart. I mean, the very first opening line is like, "How do you want the people to remember you by?" He's like, "Oh, I have a big," and he's like, bro. Like the first line out of his mouth in the trailer, and then he starts talking about his watches. Well, I got a $250,000 watch, and da da da. It's just like, all right, well, that's 2022, Richard Hart all day long. He even, I don't know if you guys saw it this morning. Richard had tweeted out, "Hey guys, the highest stakes, you can book a viewing. But by the way, this is old Richard Hart. I'm humble now. Stay humble." So he had tweeted that out this morning. So he's, it's
not one I'd take my mom to.
No, I mean, it's going to stir up the controversy that we need. It's colorful. I feel like it's good because it portrays basically what our community has gone through and what it's all about for the last couple of years, and kind of like. And I'm sure there's going to be some really good, non-controversial heart-to-heart talks with Richard Hart in there. Like there's probably going to be some really good content that is not so controversial too. That's, they're not going to show those for the trailers. Ideally, you want
the trailers just trying to stir up buzz and
you want it to be cutting edge. You want to be cutting edge, and you want to get people like, man, F this guy. I'm going to go pay to watch this.
What's this all about? Right. Paul might have figured it out for us. Let me try one more time here. All right.
Oh man, he's got the charts and the audio figured out for us.
Let's see if I can get this to work. All right. Let's see.
The world's biggest diamond.
Yes.
You do.
You can hear it?
Yes. Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, we are set for you, Richard. What do you want people to know about you?
You got a big dick. This here is $3.1 million watches. I have the world's biggest diamond. You don't. I do.
Who is Richard Hart? Genius.
Legendary.
Arrogant. Bit of a narcissist. Benevolent king.
$250,000. Hate me. I'm farther than you'll ever be in your whole life.
Who does this guy think he is?
Whatever the governments have been doing, it's not worked out. You've never had worse interest rates. Your money has never been worth less. Everything is getting worse. The only thing that's making it better is cryptocurrency.
It's better than the dollar. It's better than gold. It's better money.
Crypto is money without governments, and it is money without banks.
You're not going to beat another product like this as long as you live. Yes, every scammer in the world is going to tell you something similar.
Good morning, everyone. Are you ready to look for some fraud this morning?
They are promising 40% annual percentage return.
I want to make people millionaires. Have thousands of millions.
Richard Hart's Hex token is a brilliant scam.
Desperation has a look to it. And when you're looking for just anything, you will fall for anything.
Hex is going to be the new cryptocurrency. We'll take over the market. There isn't anything else out there that's worth the shit.
Everything I have worked for all my life is staked in Hex.
I put it all in. All over house money.
Why is it important to you?
I want to feel loved. Does she gotta want to feel loved? Everyone wants to feel loved, right?
Richard is the messiah of the savior.
That sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
That you're incentivizing people to pull money off the market.
You know what? I think you just described the 401k.
If the music stops, they're sitting on nothing. X doesn't make money. That's where I'm so frustrated. What is the value?
Do you want to get rich?
No, I don't think that it's a secret. Because I trust Richard Hart.
It seems like some of this is just a large performance art project. And if ultimately this is all a big performance art project, people are going to get fucked.
I mean, you can fool a couple people, but can you fool that many?
So I should trust you.
Listen, I think you should trust me, but if you get into the habit of trusting people like me, you get the crap scammed out of you.
Oh man,
it portrays our community so well.
Ear ringing, crunching, or sloshing ear noises, you may skip this video. Did you know that?
There you go. It portrays our community so well.
Speaker. Change this over here. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Audio's back.
Yeah, I was gonna say it portrays our community, the craziness that we all are, so well.
Oh, it's wild. It's really interesting. And shout out to Paul. Thanks for helping us figure out the audio for that, Paul.
Did you see that Maddie Allen had another it was a leak. It was a leak.
I did. That was good.
Trailer.
In fact, let me go pull that up too. That
Yeah. It was a leak trailer. It was really, really cool.
I feel like that did so you see the hype in that one and kind of the craziness, and then what Maddie put out was
more of like probably what the meat and potatoes I feel like of the movie is going to be about.
Right. So my first reaction is I can't take my mom. I think that I would be selective of who I would take to it before I went and saw it myself.
Would you take your kids?
No, absolutely not. No, there's a lot of language and stuff, and my kids are little.
Yeah, but it could maybe be a wife date night.
Yeah, and I'd take a bunch of our crypto friends. I think that'd be a blast to go out and do. So yeah, so that's my initial feelings. I think that it'll be really interesting to see what the outrage marketing does, or what that seems like here, kind of with the market starting to reverse. So we saw the outrage marketing when the market was going down, and we saw that Richard got followers. Man, I feel like that would be amplified even greater if it was when the market was recovering and things were starting to go back up.
Yep, green candles along with the outrage.
Man, I think that would be a big deal. And it's interesting because with the Heist of Stakes documentary, you really get both. You get humble Richard, you get narcissistic Richard, and
right.
And really you get both to try to get as much traction as possible to pump things. So I'm excited about it. I think it'll be an interesting watch. I hope they did a really good job. Man, you guys, I think this is such a good parallel. So if you guys have not gone and seen, I'll pull it up. Let me see if I can find, I'm not seeing. Hold on, let me go back this way. So If you guys have not gone and watched on where's Maddie's post? I guess I could just type in
it should be his most recent on his Twitter.
Right. The screen name now. Maddie. Come on, baby, work. Huh. All right. So if you guys have not seen, I would heavily recommend going and seeing the what's it called? I'll find it here. Netflix. So there's an excellent show called Eat the Rich on Netflix. I'll show you guys so you can see here. All right. So excellent show on Netflix. This one's called Eat the Rich, and it's about the GameStop short squeeze, which was really fascinating to learn about. I wasn't involved in it. It would have been fun to have been part of it. Felt like a big meme game to play. But essentially, the way that this worked is there's GameStop. If you guys are familiar with gaming, GameStop is one of the or it was like the place back in the day to go and buy games. Now you can just download them online, and so GameStop has seen market share just get absolutely demolished, and they look like they were essentially going to go out of business. And so a bunch of the VC guys, they went and they took short positions against GameStop because everybody thought it was a guaranteed, company plummeting and an opportunity to make profits. And so it was cool. It was a really cool grassroots movement where you saw some of these influencers take GameStop on their shoulders and they started buying it. And the term that they use is they said, "I like the stock." And so they would go and they would buy it, and there were all these Reddit threads that were created, and people were talking about it, and they were pumping. And so GameStop was just running and running and running, like it ran incredibly hard for a stock. And all the VC guys that had taken short positions, it forced them to buy the stock as well to be able to keep their positions from getting liquidated. And so they're it's kind of backwards where they're helping the pump also and needing to cover their positions to their short positions. And I tell you, that was really interesting. A few different takeaways from this that I think are good parallels. So I felt like after watching this, even though that I knew the game was up and GameStop was not something to go and buy, I felt connected to the community. And I felt like I wanted to go and buy some GameStop stock to be part of, the documentary and part of the information that was shared. And I think it's really fascinating to apply that to the Highest of Stakes documentary. If they really did a good job and the quality and production looks absolutely stellar, if they did a good job of portraying things in such a way that they'll be able to create a lot of intrigue around Richard and Pulsechain and Hex and Pulsex, that people will have a place to go and buy now. There is a lot of speculation on should they release the documentary before Pulsechain launches or after. I was always in the camp that they should release it after, so you have a place to go and channel the energy into Pulsechain. People can go buy Richard Hart assets over there, and so I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Especially, I think there will be people calling for the documentary release to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I think in this case, it absolutely could be, because it's a very focused subset of people that are going to be going to the movie. A lot of us are already involved, right? We know what's going on. I would say the majority of people going to watch are people that are already in the know. But if these guys can use this, if we can go and fill up the movie theaters, and they can use this as like a type of a money raise, and to be able to show that there's true demand here, well, you could use that and go to streaming services, I think pretty easily and say, look, this is what we did. We released across the country in these different theaters. This was the turnout. This was the money that we created. There's real demand here for this film. Are you sure you don't want to pick it up? And I think that's the game plan and the play here.
I think so too. And this is a good way to get some initial seed money out of the movie without doing the old, hey, community, can you just send money to this public address, which we've seen so many times over and over and over again. This way they're able to provide a value and a service to us because we all want to see this. I've been dying to see this. And they're able to provide this for, very little bit of money, and we can go watch this. So it's a great strategy. I'm very excited and happy the way this is unfolding.
Yep, I am too. I think it'll be really fun to see. Money Gang Crypto's on. He said that he was involved in the GameStop short squeeze, and they did. They covered this in the documentary. Heavily recommend going and watching it. It was really entertaining, and I think that there's some interesting parallels to what the highest of stakes could do for the things that we like. Yeah. But yeah, literally, I think it was like, depending upon your time zone, I think here in the United States, it was the evening. People were primarily buying GameStop over on Robinhood, if I'm not mistaken. And all of a sudden they made it where you couldn't, I think it was just the selling that the buying, they stopped it where you couldn't get in. Maybe it's both the buying and the selling. They just stopped it on a dime. Price was running, and essentially they brought it to a screeching halt, making it so you couldn't buy and sell. And they further speculate that it was one of these big VC companies that has huge ownership in Robinhood. And there's a lot of speculation those guys stopped the buying and selling to be able to make it so that their shorts weren't taking any more of a beating. And it was disgusting behavior. Couldn't agree more.
To be illegal.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny. And they think crypto's bad.
Oh, it's what a freaking Ponzi. The more that's one of the things that I'm really grateful for is I feel like crypto's really opened my eyes to the fact of, like everything really is a big Ponzi. All of it. The banking system, our current monetary policy, and an opportunity to be able to really take those things on our own shoulders and be able to utilize those tools in cryptocurrencies. Really, really life-changing. And once again, couldn't be more excited to be here. Right place, right time.
Absolutely. I mean, even real estate, in a sense, is a Ponzi, as in you can only sell your house what the next guy is willing to pay for it. Except for real estate gives you could go live in it. And even if the prices went to zero, I got a place to live. Yay, right? And so that way, there's something there. But other than that, you look at stocks, it's just paper that's loosely attached to a company. May or may not be true because they could be lying about their numbers. There's nothing. It is complete Ponzi. Gold and silver, Ponzi, unless you're putting that gold in your house. And even then, it's like, what can you do with it? It's pretty. You want to melt it down? You're going to create something with it? I don't know, man. It's that to me is Ponzi.
Well, it's like the transport. You can't move it around easily. These people go and buy of a neighbor that's real big into precious metals, and he buys tons of it and has a third-party custodian, is the third-party custodian for him. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Fly to, I think it's in Central America. Are you going to fly to Central America and get it out of the vaults and transport it around when you want to take it out? Like, it's just,
it's really, still, you're buying made up numbers. And the biggest Ponzi right there. There's our biggest Ponzi. Lesson of the day. This is made up out of nowhere. The value, this is a piece of freaking paper with no backing whatsoever. And the only reason why I can do something with it is because you say I can do something with. Dane be like, yeah, I would take that from you because I can go buy goods and services. But that's it. There's nothing. It's crazy. It's just it's mind-boggling. And that's that trailer Dane that Maddie had posted. Kind of goes into
it. See if you can find it real quick.
Kind of goes into that a little bit. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
I don't know why I can't freaking. I found it on my phone, but I'm having a hard time finding it on my computer.
But that's kind of what the professor was talking about in front of the class that day on that trailer. Let me see if
there it is. At Maddie, all in. At Maddie.
But that's the wonderful thing about crypto, man, is
there we go. Found it. Okay.
Oh, you found it. Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, if you haven't watched this is a good one. It's not nearly as colorful as the other trailer.
All right, let me switch this around.
Yes, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about money. Money is changing. To be honest, no one's quite sure anymore what money really is.
Everyone spends all their time working for money, but money on its own isn't useful. You can't eat it, you can't build a house out of it. Its only utility really is exchanging it for the things that truly have value, which are goods and services. Everything else is just accounting.
So if you go back to the beginning of civilization, there was no money. People who wanted to buy and sell things had to use barter. Money doesn't really have intrinsic value. Gold isn't particularly strong, it's not very good at conducting electricity, but it's scarce and it's beautiful. And so we've given it value as a society. Money is not what a lot of people think it is. A lot of people, when they think about money, they think of, oh, this thing that has value. Pieces of paper, like a $20 bill, that doesn't have any value. We used to be on the gold standard, so a US dollar was redeemable for an ounce of gold. That changed long ago. Its only value is by decree. Someone said it has value.
Our made-up imaginary internet money is better than the government's made-up imaginary internet money. Both of them are only backed by the shared fiction of the humans believing that they have value.
So in 2008, I think the history of money changed forever. That was when the Bitcoin white paper was published on the internet. It is the peer-to-peer electronic cash. It is money without governments, and it is money without banks. It seems crazy to think that our economy is moving online, but our money would not be. This is the paradigm shift of our generation.
That's fire.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fire.
I'm excited about that. It's clips like that that are really interesting to me. Richard, I have not seen anybody, and it's not even close. Richard is bar none the best, is to me the best person that's educated me more about money and how it works and monetary policy and the importance of how all those things are put together than anybody I've ever seen.
Dane, you're muted.
An opportunity to be able to go and put that out to the world, I think is a big deal. It'll be really interesting to see the impact on the price chart. I think it'll be positive. I think it'll be real positive.
I think it will be
long
too.
term.
Yeah, we might see a little bit buy the rumor, sell the news event within our own community, because that's, we have a lot of traders in our community. It's just how it goes. But then I think for long-term growth of the ecosystem, facilitating into the bull market, it's going to be tremendous for us. It's going to be amazing, especially, God, I'm praying, especially if they can get this on like a Netflix or something to that nature. It's game over.
Right. And I'm hopeful. I mean, it sounds like those guys spent over $1 million on the
they did
on the documentary, and at the time that they did it, those types of documentaries were fetching millions of dollars. They'd be well in profit if they were able to get the valuation at that time. But we've seen it. It's fascinating. We've seen it with real estate. We've seen it with businesses. We've seen it with crypto and stocks. As the market has turned, there's just not the evaluations that were once there. And so they'd be, it sounded by the sounds of it, they would be well underwater if they took the deals that have been presented to them today. In fact, Corey Costa is doing a stream later this evening. I think it's
Toby.
Yep, I think it's at 8 p.m. Eastern with Toby, and they'll talk about some of the specifics of that, which will be a cool one. I'm interested to tune into that. So
me too, because even when he went on our show, I don't know if you remember back in the day, he had talked about how underwater, and I don't want to mention any numbers. I'll let him see if he wants to do it tonight. But he's a big investor in this particular documentary, and he's quite underwater, along with a bunch of other people. So this showing what we're doing right here, like I said earlier in the show, this is a great way to basically get some money conjured up, get some money back to the investors who had put up for this. And then, like you had mentioned, Dane, bootstrap the documentary and prime it for Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
So bullish.
Oh, so bullish. I think, and once again, we're in the freaking bottom of the bear right now. You do the pre-screening in August. Like it's really fascinating to see how so many of the indicators are lining up for potentially this next cycle to be a pretty insane bull run. Now it could roll over quicker, but it also could be pretty nuts. And in fact, that's probably an interesting place to go next, Corey. So Sami's been putting out content, and I've seen this in a few different places. I saw it with Bob Lucas too. In fact, I think you were the one that recommended the video. But essentially what both those guys have mentioned is that we could see something where instead of this cycle, the top being in 2025 at some point, that it could roll over a lot more quickly. And the big thing to be looking for is, heading into the next Bitcoin halving, which is March or April of next year, that if we see back Bitcoin back to 69K at the previous top, or maybe even surpassing it, that essentially the market's front ran the halving, front ran the cycle, and that could be an indicator to look at getting out, which is interesting to pay attention to. What are your thoughts on that, Corey?
It was just very interesting because I've been watching Sami for this last, I don't know, maybe year, and this last few months he's really kind of hammered down the friend scenario and the I think he calls it the scam use scenario or whatever it is, like a 70. He thinks it's like 70% going to be a scam, 20% going to be the friend scenario. The friend scenario is where we do a normal market cycle. Bitcoin probably goes over 100K. Altcoins pump to the moon like normal. You see the 100 and 1,000 X's on these one-off altcoins, and that's the friend scenario. And it's really interesting because I like to see other data or talking points, not even so much data and talking points, other people coming up with their own thesis outside of our community. And so that Bob is outside of our community. And in fact, Dane, I was recommending him from our ETH Well friend here in Puerto Rico. He knows him.
Oh, really? He knows Bob?
Yeah, he knows him. He's like, hey, Corey, watch this. And he's the one that sent it to me. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is like almost exactly what Sami's talking about. I'm loving that there's some other thoughts that are aligning here, and that's why. But Bob was saying it was kind of like the opposite of Sami thinks the probabilities weigh in that happens. Bob was saying that that's probably the less likely scenario.
Right.
So take that what you will. I would say prepare for either one. If you see Bitcoin kind of pushing up in that 60, 70 range where we're going into the halving. And then, you just need to kind of watch what's going on. And then you don't maybe sell your whole position because they're talking about like Sami talks about what is your percentage that you give it. So like, if you think it's a 50-50, well, then you sell 50% of your position if the scenario happens. And that way you're keeping 50% of your position just in case you're wrong. And it keeps going. So there's something to be considered about that. I'll be keeping a close eye on it. What's really cool is that we got these smart individuals who will also be keeping a close eye on it. Like Bob, he's going to be like, I subscribe to his channel. And so like, I want to see like what his thought processes are as we're moving closer in to the bull run. Same with Sami, right? I watch all his content, even though sometimes he's like, it's hard to keep up with him because he's like four or five pieces.
He puts out so much stuff.
The guy's out there just like That's why people think he's an AI guy. Everyone thinks he's an AI robot. I'm like, I don't think he's not AI, because I've actually had conversations with him in Telegram, like voice conversations. So I can verify Sami's not AI, guys.
Hey man, AI can do that.
Maybe, man, he was carrying a conversation with me, bro. And like, it was I don't know, man. No, he's not AI. Don't spook me out this morning, Dane. You're right. The right AI probably could do that. But I mean, we had a conversation about the Silver the Antidote video that came out like what was that, 2 months ago or a month ago, and we had a good 5-minute conversation back and forth about it, you know, and what his thoughts were. And his thoughts were, it was kind of the opposite direction of what Silver the Antidote's thoughts were, which was kind of nice to hear. Yeah, man, it's I think it's something that you need to take in consideration. The market cycles are getting more evolved. They're evolving, right? And they're getting smarter. Everyone knows about the 4-year market cycle now. I mean, everyone in crypto now.
So that's the next point. Yeah, that's the next point. Because the people in crypto right now, the amount of people in crypto is a tiny fraction of the population. And so you see people in crypto that are saying, well, everybody knows about the 4-year cycle. You've seen Buck say that. You've seen Bob talk about it. You've seen Sami talk about it. And
retail don't know about it.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna drive home another point. Even some crypto guys don't know about it. How many of you hexagons did your stakes where they're coming out in a bear market?
Right.
Why did you do your stakes in a bear market? Because even the crypto bros are not taking into consideration the 4-year market cycles. So you can look at it both ways. Yeah.
But it is really interesting to consider. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting real toppy in leading into the next cycle. It'll be an opportunity, I think, to be able to. I mean, I would take some chips off the table. How much? I don't know, but I'd take some chips off the table just to be able to protect from downside.
Even if we saw a pretty hard run up, even in bull markets, you have corrections. Like even in bull runs, you have 20-30% corrections, pullbacks. So maybe it's not a full-blown bear that we go into, but maybe you have a correction, and maybe like after a 20% drop off, maybe you start coming back into the, you start putting your chips that you took off the table back in, right? And just to kind of hedge your bet a little bit. And it's hard to say, but keep your ears open. Listen to these smart guys like Sami, like Bob, and be careful of the narrative, because everyone on Twitter. And now the YouTube influencers, the big ones, right? The real big dogs. They're going to be like, Bitcoin to 100K and the bear markets are gone forever. That's like the narrative every time, right? And it's like, we've evolved beyond bear markets. Yeah, show me what asset class has done that.
Right.
So, like, it'll be fun because a lot of people will be sucked into the narratives. A lot of people will be sucked into the hype. The adrenaline, the endorphins that come with bull markets, and they will ignore the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Yep. Dylan asks, Dylan tuned in a little bit late. So talk about taking 50% out in cycle rolling over instead of doing the traditional.
It's whatever probability you're giving it that Sami says that like he's doing like a 70-30. It's whatever probability you attach to it. And that's what you take out, the percentage that you attach to it. And it could be like a 20%. Like you're like, oh, it's a 20% that's going to happen. Well, then take 20% of your bag off the table when that scenario is starting to play out. That's all. That's all. And my boy Red Squirrel, man, I gotta put this up. This is my boy, man. All my stakes mature just before or just after the 4-year cycles. But that was pure luck, not planned. Okay. But still, that's the way to play the game if you are a smart cryptocurrency investor. You have to understand market cycles. You got to understand the asset class, and you play it accordingly.
At least with the data that we currently have. And one of the nice things about we're not big advocates here for 15-year stakes, and
Sure.
And there's a lot of reasoning behind that. We know a lot of you feel differently, and that's fine. We respect that. But there's something to be said about, if you're staking for 4-year increments, even if you're off a little bit, you need to early end stake. Well, you can early end stake once you're 50% of the way there and get all your principal back out. And so
it's also prorated if you're close, once you're into the
Right. So you can still capture your upside and leave yourself a lot of flexibility. Whereas if you stake for 15 years, you got to wait for 7 to have options like that without destroying your initial principal. And so, something to keep in mind when you're building out your staking ladders.
Yep. I mean, my stakes are market cycle stakes. They're either market cycle stakes or they're HSIs. I love HSIs still too, but they're either or.
Right. No, Red Squirrel nailed it. Taking profit on the way down is still okay. Absolutely.
On the way down from the bull market, but when you're in the dirt and you're 97% down off the top, it doesn't make no what stake? I had a stake thing come due. It was I think it was 4 months ago. Or it was before I came out to Puerto Rico. It was a couple months before I came here. I had one of those stakes that I did when Hex was 30 cents come due. It was worth peanuts. What did I do with it? I restaked it. I'm not gonna there was no point in that stake coming out. They're it was useless. And
right.
So and I added a little bit of Hex to it. So it came out and that I added a little bit of Hex to it to beef it up a little bit. And then I threw it out for the market cycle. It was I think I threw that one out in Q2 or Q3. No, it was Q4 24 is what that one. Yeah. So I mean,
I had one come out on my birthday in May this year, and it was worth nothing. Literally, I was one of the people that the gas fees were worth more than the Hex was in USD terms, and I was like, man, it's really eye opening to see.
I mean, we bought Randy his truck when we were buying Hex at 30 cents. Randy is right. Retail is clueless. I agree with that 100%. But it's also remarkable in how many crypto bros are clueless too.
Yep, absolutely. So it'll be interesting. What are your where do you sit right now, Corey, in the probabilities in your mind? So we've seen Bob, we've seen Sami. Do you think that what's the likelihood we see your traditional 4-year cycle top in 2025? What's the likelihood this time is different?
Yeah, at least 20%. I'm still coming up with my own thought processes on that. It's at least 20% that we see something different this time around. And we can see something. This is not talked about much. We can see something to the opposite also, where we don't top into 2026. What's to say that the Fed didn't wreck the markets so bad and pull so much liquidity out that we just don't have the economic energy to push it up until they really start turning the money printers back on. I mean, I don't know, right? It's there is something to be said about that too. And then you get all these people who are selling, early in 25 because they think it's the market top, and then 26 comes around when we should be going down, and then that's when we have our last push to the upside. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of every scenario that would scam us out.
Right.
that would fake us out. And you have both of those. It's at least 20. It's between 20 and 50 for me. It's somewhere in there between 20 and 50. Where if we were to top early, that's what I would take off the table.
Yeah.
And if I got a 20x in Pulsechain, man, and I'm taking 20% off the table from a 20x, man, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that scenario. Even 50%. If I come to the conclusion that I want to take 50% on a 20x, and then the other 50% goes and does 100x or maybe 200x or whatever, then I'm still okay. I'm in great condition.
Right. And who put it here? I saw it. Somebody asked. They said, "Isn't right here? Aren't the cycles becoming self-fulfilling prophecies?" It's interesting to consider this. So the crowd is almost always wrong, and so that's the one factor here. But but I mean, it is in a lot of respects, right? If people are expecting the 4-year cycle to repeat and they plan their behavior around that, then it would. It'd be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I hope that we do. I think that'd be great. Either that, or I hope everybody front runs and we see astronomically high prices leading to the next Bitcoin halving. We can get our bull run faster and and get to the taking profits part sooner. That wouldn't be terrible either. But to Dylan's question with the markets, yeah. So the big thing that we're looking at is to see traditionally, traditionally you're not seeing Bitcoin start to top and get, or not top, but get to its previous all-time high until after the halving. And so if it did it before the halving or right there around that same time, then that would be an indicator that, that the market is front running the halving. And you'd have to use that information to be able to say, what do I feel like things will do this time? Because that would be something that was different. That would be something to indicate and point at and say, hey, this time is different. So far, it doesn't appear to be like there are things that are to indicate that. The bottom happened like right on schedule, like normal. The market's playing out really typically right now. And so will there be something to indicate and say, hey, this time's different? I don't know. And it'll be interesting to see.
But smart investors, you always try to think of all the different scenarios in your head and prepare accordingly if something were to go that way. So that's it. Because as investors, and this is an asset class, not just crypto, like we don't know the future. We just don't. We can't predict. We can make speculations and very smart ones. I believe in TA. I think TA is patterns of human emotion. It's just all you're really doing is charting what humans do, and humans are very predictable. We're a very our species is just we all act the same. It's crazy. And so that's all charting is. And so it is pretty accurate because of that, because it's just human emotion.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find this this video.
While you're doing that, I'll touch on Addie's. HSIs are still 15-year stakes, Addie. But you just have a couple of different optionalities with them. For example, you can sell them on OpenSea to another person, who's willing to buy. Obviously, you're going to take a haircut, but you should be able to get a dollar price established, whatever the market's paying, so on OpenSea. And if and when, because I believe it will, ICOSA kind of has a run back up when it gets closer to where supposed to be the peg of Hex is at. And even if it's not even close, even if it's somewhat like 50%, you can still grab a lot of your economic energy out of that by selling to the ICOSA contract. So you just have some other options. Maybe if you have a couple of them, I've won a couple of them, and I sent them to my daughter's address. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and so she has her own wallet. And I was like, you know what? I'm not a big believer in 15-year stakes, but let's punt one out. How Randy says, let's punt one out, and maybe a Hail Mary happens, and Hex is the big grand store of value 15 years from now. Let's see. And so I put a couple little ones in there for my daughter, and let's just see if it'd be really cool if Hex came to be like what Bitcoin is today. Can you imagine? And she got those stakes, and her college would be paid for. If she wants to start a business, she could start a business. So many different things. Fun things to think about. Will it come true? Probably not, if you ask me and my probabilities. But it's fun to think about, and so I'm willing to punt little bits of money out.
Sure. And this is a really cool comment. I have a stake coming out tomorrow, 890x, staked it in January 2020. This is awesome. Good for you. Seriously, really freaking cool. That's
great. Now, Hex Cliffs, would you rather have that now, or would you rather have that when Hex was 30 cents? Like, what was it worth then? And even if you have it 1 year from now, is Hex going to be 2 cents 1 year from now? I would say no. I would be I would put a lot of money on the table. A lot of money on the table that it's probably going to be anywhere from a 5 to 10x from here, 1 year from now. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'd rather have that stake come out then in the bull market when we're pumping and when
and it points to the importance of buying at the right times. And that's one of the coolest things about the opportunities this year, and especially right now. If you're, like all of us here, if we like the Richard Hart stuff, we like what's being built over on Pulsechain and the products that have been put out, we could buy very near the bottom right now. And the risk, and I love that, the risk versus reward is so astronomically in our favor that regardless of whether or not the market rolls over early or we see traditional cycle play out, prepping and building bags now as much as humanly possible, if you, in whatever you believe in, not financial advice, is really an exciting opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Heads Clips, if I had that stake coming out, I'd probably restake it still. I mean, that's me personally. I'm just a dude on the internet. It's not financial advice. But me, I'd be like, oh man, Hex is 2 cents. I don't want to sell Hex at 2 cents. This sucks. Right? It's like,
right. Yeah, somebody else is going to have to buy Randy another vehicle this next cycle top. It won't be.
Man, someone needs to buy me and you, Dane. The new retail coming in, they gotta earn their stripes. I'm sorry, we earned our stripes.
We earned ours.
They're gonna earn their stripes the same way we earned ours, and we're gonna get ourselves a nice truck like Randers over there in Panama.
Mm-hmm. my Tesla truck on my reservation. Hopefully those line up at the same time. That'd be cool. All right, cool guys. Well, this has been a great show. Is there anything else you want to touch on, Corey, before we?
Nah, that's all. We'll do normal show tomorrow. I think we'll be off on Thursday. I'm flying to Arizona, take care of some stuff, and then I'm in my office Friday. So it'll be like the old days streaming. I don't think get used to the time. It'll be I want a Sea-Doo switch. Randy, I got a feeling you're going to get the opportunity to get that. But it ain't going to be for me and Dane this time.
No, it's not going to be us. And hopefully none of you watching. We're doing our best.
We locked ours in already. So, yeah, this is good, man. Yeah, we'll see you guys on Mañana. This has been fun.
Sounds good. See you guys.